Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. It's Monday, March 6th. We're going to look at some technical analysis, look at SPY, BBBY, GME. Got some runners still today from Friday close. Kind of settled down now, but we're going to look at those as well. What were they? Turka, GNS, I think it even was doing stuff. Yeah, so we'll look at those. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money sticks around. We have a Twitter you can follow us on at Happy Money YT, as well as a Discord server. Link for those in the description. And here we are. So today, we've got PAL tomorrow. Today, kind of just continued the rally from Bostic here, but it actually slowed down quite a bit today. I think markets are starting to, looks like they're starting to get a little more realistic about PAL's testimony in front of, let's see, can't remember. But he is speaking tomorrow, testifies to Senate tomorrow, and then to the House on Wednesday, both at 10 a.m. So definitely could move the markets in the morning. TA wise, we're looking at this chart. This whole area is looking very similar to back here. This was a bigger pump, bear market rally. We had 4 big green candles with gaps. I was thinking today would be a little bit more explosive to the upside, but it didn't. But this looks very similar. Potential for a gap down and go to the downside, depending on PAL the next 2 days. So intraday it did rally a bit, came up and actually kind of hit that resistance perfectly. So yeah, I was expecting a little further for that gap fill. I was going to go short at 408. It never made it up there. I was just kind of sitting on my hands today a bit, just hanging out watching it. I did want to take a short here on that double top, but I just left it. And then also thought about taking another short here, but I left that. But that would have been a good entry. Instead, I took some longs down here that I closed out, and yeah, so not much for me today. Just pretty chill on the futures. Nat gas had a big sell-off. I think it's just profit taking. This thing, it's volatile. That's just kind of the way it works. I don't think any specific news. Maybe something with the LNG port, but I still think it's cheap at these prices. I mean, it has had a crazy rally in the last 8 days or so. So I'll be looking for bottoming of some sort and some stabilization and maybe some upside momentum before I start going along again. I actually got stopped out today, literally on like one of these wicks. I started buying in down here at the inverted head and shoulders, and I kept averaging till I got my cost basis up to here, unfortunately. So this time around, I'll probably just start with a little heavier position, and then I don't know. We'll see. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I thought about taking profits on Friday when it was up here. I'm like, but I think you keep going, and I still do. But a gap down that big, I was not expecting to get stopped out. I was actually gonna dip buy, but my cost basis was too high even for that. So, anyways, yeah, I think it'll continue to rally, but needs to kind of cool down a bit more. GME I started to get kind of bullish on last week, just with the price action and the candles, and the fact that it didn't flush at a time and I thought it probably would have. So I was holding up like good relative strength to the market. Had that hammer candle on there, which was bullish, and they haven't even announced earnings yet. So potentially we'll see a rally into earnings. That has happened before. That's pretty common to have a kind of a pre-earnings run up. So I got more calls on it today, but we'll see. Part of the exuberance for me was seeing this volume pick up and then it breaking that 1940. So I was picking up calls in this area, and pretty safe calls though, like at the money or real near the money. And then I was getting for end of March, but I'll show you the options I got. A lot of them are down now, just, yeah. But today's price action here, I'd like to see continuation of this tomorrow. We'll see what PAL does to SPY and GME. But it needs to break this 1940. If it comes up here and starts to show resistance again, I'll probably be pulling out those longs. But not my leaps. I got leaps today also. BBBY, more lows. So last week we kind of set up that little bear flag on the hourly. And if you heard my video on Friday, I'm like, well, we might come down a little bit more, but still have this inverted head and shoulders. Still that engulfing candle that they're not going to get rid of. So it ended up playing out like that. Made new lows today. I did actually buy more today on it. More cash grid puts, more shares. It breaking this low was not my favorite, that 1420. Just for the head and shoulders pattern, the inverted head and shoulders. Kind of here, that was kind of my last low from over here. Not to say it couldn't still be inverted head and shoulders, but it's just looking more like it's maybe going to double bottom for the bull case. Bear case, it's going to just break through the support and go back to filling this gap down here. But bullish case, we'll see a bounce here or even where we are today, and some rallying throughout the rest of this week. I could see it moving back up to 160.25, or up in this range this week. Maybe even making new highs out of this little consolidation period that we're getting. Maybe up to 160.76. Yeah, I could see that tomorrow or Wednesday. Even today, like it gapped up. I mean, pre-market, I think it was up like 10%, 8%. So yeah, just the way it just shakes you out. So probably get after hours pump or pre-market pump, and yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking on it. But engulfing candle's still there, and we're just kind of consolidating, I'd say, building a floor of support and accumulating shares. So for it not to be more of a bearish trend, you want it to hold these lows basically. As long as it holds these lows and we kind of bounce and trade, will be good for most likely reversal. Let's see, SPY's bounced a little bit there, and yeah, we had other movers today. What do we have? MSGM was up a lot. The ones that closed pretty good on Friday, I was like, look out for these next week. That's oftentimes good signs of a rally next week, and probably on Monday even, because if people aren't taking profits on a Friday, over the weekend, you have hype, you have chatter, and shows people's sentiment. So oftentimes you'll continue to kind of rally. Kala, we were talking about last week, a couple days, and it had a gap up today. Can't remember some of the other ones we've been looking at. Well, they're not up here anymore at this point. Well, Turka's on. Turka's still going up. I'd be taking profits, so I mean, you're playing with fires these levels. So let me show you the positions that we did today and the different futures traded. So yeah, nat gas got stopped out of that. Big bummer. I was up like $5 grand on that. And there's my little MES shorts and longs. Here's the GME calls about in the trading account. Got 3 19 calls, and then 7 19.5, and 7 20s, all for the end of March. So bit of a earnings play for GME at this point. Not sure if I'll hold through earnings or how long. Again, the price action this morning was getting me pretty excited for a rally, so I would like to see it continue tomorrow at the least. Yeah, and then on this account, let's see, what do we get filled? So I sold 40 cash grid puts, 1.5 strike of BBY for this Friday, and then I bought 5 leaps on GME for the 20 strike. Not quite leaps, or January calls. So did that, and then on the long term, what did I do? Yeah, on the long term, I bought more shares. Yeah, I didn't have margin for cash grid puts for some reason, so they were forcing me to buy more shares. So I'm like, okay, if you don't want me to have cash grid puts, I'll just buy more shares. So that's what I did. Have a order out here to open up some cover calls. So I'm gonna do cover calls on a lot of these shares. We just need a pump, and maybe I'll just do it in the morning tomorrow. But yeah, I bought let's see, 2,970 today, partially filled at 143. So I'm up to like 23,000 shares on it. So ready for double digits. But again, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna do some cover calls on it, just to hedge a little bit, make back a little bit of the capital I put into it at this point, because it's getting a little crazy. But that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Discord. Peace out.